It has been a summer of feeding all kinds of dinosaurs from the past. Now it's the time to feed the reptile of the week. Charlie Ovey, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Um, it's been a little bit of a different season. Let's start with the spring. You being appointed as a head coach just 1 week prior to the start of the league. Tell me, what was your initial feeling when you were asked to take over?
Well, it was 10 days, so I had 3 extra days to work with, fortunately. I was really nervous because it was a big change, and it was so soon before the start of the year. But at the same time, it was almost good that there was no time to be nervous. There was honestly so much to do, and I remember kind of instantly, once I'd spoken with Timo Tuoko, saying, Timo had said, don't talk to anyone yet, and I had said I need to talk to Arthur Alto, who was going to be who is now our OC, kind of instantly, and I spent hours and hours with him that week, just figuring out kind of our bullet point plan and going through everything. There was no time to be actually nervous about stuff and actually scared about anything. We just had to shut up and do it, and it went okay. The first couple of weeks for sure.
Yeah, it was. The season started well with a win over the champions, Porvoo Butchers. Were you surprised that it all started so well?
No. We were a good team. We've always been a good team this year. I felt real good going into that Porvoo game because I knew that in 23 we played them really well 3 times, and just kind of unfortunately in the final we had not been able to perform on offense or on special teams. So I felt real good going into that game, and it was a great game to start with because there was a lot more to it then, and it just took a lot of pressure out of the coaching change, because there was a bigger thing that we were focusing on, which was kind of the final rematch, and that was just a really good way to start.
The team from last year's final changed quite a lot. How strong was your belief in the team and trusting that we can still be good?
It was really strong. It took a while to see exactly how we were going to be a good team. I was always very confident that we would be good, and the issue was just, I wasn't sure yet how the team needed to be coached, and maybe a bit more specifically, what play calls do we call on defense to suit the 11 guys on the field. But I knew that we had a core of really good players. Kind of the first 7 or 8 on offense and defense were our A+ guys, and it was just a case of finding the last 3 either domestically as our Finns, or whether we decided to spend the import spots on them. So it just took a minute to find out how do we need to coach these guys to be what we could be. Yeah.
Actually, you had 3 returning defensive players. Our defensive backfield was very, very inexperienced, and it's sort of like Arto Tuokko was the only one left. How pleased are you with the young guys who've been playing there this season and taking the step?
Yeah, well, I'm very, very pleased. A lot of the guys that we had were the guys that left, and then the players that have played this year. They're not, apart from Panel, they're not brand new guys to the team. They are our juniors, or they're players that we knew already on the team. And that was the reason why I was confident with it, because I knew that they were good guys and good players, and it's always easy to coach a group like that. So kind of going into it, I never thought, we're super inexperienced, this will be challenging. Of course it has been challenging at points, but that's the game. They've played really, really well, especially Santo Salme. I want to say his name in the interview because he's had a really good year after kind of struggling to find a role on offense, because our receiver group is stacked last year and this year. And he's come in, and he has been a backup player at corner for us, but he's made a huge impact, and he has saved games more than once by playing.
Scoring as well.
He scored twice. They've had a great season, and I've been really happy with the way we've been able to play a lot of guys in a lot of different places and with a lot of different techniques and coverages, and it just speaks to really the boys' effort to learn this stuff.
What has been in general, the biggest challenge for you this season?
Finding some consistency, I think, and for us this year, it's been less about the players on the field and more about the players on the sideline. It's been really difficult to get just the same 11 players out there. We've pretty clearly had a lot of issues with imports when, Chuck got hurt and we had to wait for him. F2 got hurt and unfortunately we couldn't wait for him. Morgan quit. And just like replacing any starter is difficult, and either having to replace or work through injury, as with Chuck, with the American guys is very, very hard. And I think that's been our biggest issue. I'm not exactly sure what it is right now, but there was a point where I think through the first 6 games we'd had, I think, half of those with all 3, or less than half of those with all 5 American players, and it's not easy to play like that. And I'm glad that the end of the year we seem to be moving in the right direction and we have all the guys playing.
If you could turn back time, what would you do in different way from the beginning of the season up until today?
I'm not sure. I think kind of knowing how things have gone, I think we've given some players not enough chances to play, and some guys deserve more. Some guys, the flip side of that, deserve less than what they've been given, and they haven't kind of returned the trust that's been shown in them. I think generally we've been on a pretty solid path. There's always this play call or that play call or or whatever, but I think maybe some of the player choices, and I wish there's a couple of guys I'd given more time to earlier in the year.
Plus, we need to blitz more.
You've been talking to Timo, huh?
No, it's just my own opinion, and I stick to that. We're heading to the semi-final game in Kuopio on Saturday. What are your thoughts about that game?
I'm really looking forward to it. They're always fun games. With the Steelers, it's always violent and intense, and that's how football should be. I've got a lot of former players on the other sideline as players, and I have friends coaching. I've got Nessie, my mentor and really good friend, is the head coach, so I'm really excited to have another swing at him. I can't wait.
How did you feel about the 3 players leaving from us to Steelers after last season and making remarks like, now I've really learned about how to play football, and CP won't rush that much because he doesn't have an O-line?
Yeah, well, I'd like to apologise to Axley for not coaching him well enough last year. That is my fault. I'm glad that they've gone to, what apparently is a professional organisation, that they're able to be semi-professional players and get paid on time and do this and do that. It's good for them to have a step up, and just the door didn't need to hit them on the way out, and it's a shame that they kind of slammed it, I guess. Yeah.
Do you think CP can still rush?
Remains to be seen, but the all-time record definitely speaks for itself, I think.
And I think he rushed like 1,100 yards again this season, being the top rusher.
He's done all right for sure.
Scored most touchdowns by rushing.
Yeah.
So I reckon we've done something right.
He's done okay.
Let's talk about a little bit about you and American football. Did you play yourself, and if so, what position, and how did you do?
How did I do? I did okay. I did not do great. I did not do horribly. I did okay. I played for 4 years, 3 years at the University of Nottingham, 1 year for the Tamworth Phoenix, which is like an adult league, like the Crocodiles are. I was a linebacker at university, and then when I went to the adult leagues, I played DB.
So you were fast. Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, I was fast. Okay. Once upon a time, these hamstrings could really put some work in. Yeah, not so much now. Yeah.
You're pretty fast running at the sidelines, though.
It's true.
So, when did you start coaching, and what kind of path has it been up until today?
Yeah, I started coaching in 2013 because my university club was starting a women's flag team, and I think about 2/3 of my housemates who were girls were on that team, so it kind of like naturally made sense then for me to get involved, and I really enjoyed it, and it was a very fun start to coaching was that flag team, and I the whole time I was in Nottingham, I coached them, and just as it goes, you gradually get more and more involved. And when I graduated, I coached the university team for a season, and then I moved home and I coached the university team near to my parents' house, the Hertfordshire Hurricanes, and we were really good that year, and the Hurricanes were really good, and I knew it was something that I really enjoyed, and I wanted to keep trying and keep pushing, and one thing led to another, and a few years later I was coaching in Poland for 2 years, which was a lot of fun, and then to Kotka, now here to Sanioki.
And cheap beer as well.
A lot of cheap beer in Poland, yes.
Yeah. You coach several teams here at Sanioki. Which ones and how much time does that all that take, and how do you spend the rest of the time, the ample rest of the time you got?
Yeah. So I coach the men's team. I'm the head coach for the women's team. I'm the head coach for our U13s, and I supervise our under 11s because we've got a couple of really young coaches there. So I, kind of help them out when they need it. It takes a lot of time, but I'm really glad to be busy doing something that I enjoy like this, and it's it's so easy to invest the time when you've got players like we've got, and the support staff that we have, guys like yourselves who kind of do this for the love of the game. It makes it very easy to to get up early and to stay up late and watch film and do all those kinds of things. It's all about time management, I've learned, and it means that what are the bye weeks for players are usually huddle weeks for me, and I have to do 5 weeks of scout in advance, and a real loser sitting at my computer inside during the summer. So I do coach a lot, but it's very, very enjoyable and extremely rewarding. With my spare time, I spend time with my partner Becky and our dog Nina, and that's about all I can handle is walking around outside in beautiful Sanioki with the dog. Yeah.
Have you had any opportunity to visit any of the festivals here in town?
I'm not a huge festival guy. When I hear festivals in the summer, all that means to me is players missing practice. So it's just a little frustrating. Kind of.
Do you listen to music?
Yeah, I listen to music, but it's.
But what kind of music?
Well, whatever's on the radio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So nothing special.
Nothing special.
Okay,
nothing special.
All right. So what do you miss about England most?
Friends and family. Friends and family. I really didn't enjoy living in London. Kind of when I became old enough to make my own decision as to where I'd like to live. I really don't like living in London, which is where my parents are, and my brother and sister. So that's, I can take it and leave it with that. You do miss kind of the little things that you grew up with. The thing that you can't replace is time with loved ones, and that's the big thing. And they're able to come here now and then, but never as much as you want. I miss roast dinners at the weekend, because you can try it here, but somehow it's just not the same. Something in the water in Finland, I don't know, when you boil the potato, it's not quite the same thing. Yeah, there you go.
What about on Sundays in England? Do you go bowling?
No, I used to play cricket when I was younger, which I think is the very English habit I used to have.
We never. I mean, I've been bowling on Sundays in England, but we don't bowl really, but it's just going to the bowling hall.
just going to the bowling hall and hanging out, watching everyone else. Okay,
pretty much. Yeah. Today, it's pretty much the biggest game of your head coaching career. Are you nervous? Are you nervous before the games usually?
It's definitely one of the biggest. I said before we started that my relegation game versus the Crusaders in 22 was a pretty big game, and that one was. This is a big game as well. I'm not nervous. I'm excited. I really enjoy the chance to compete with anyone, and with a good team like the Steelers, it's even more much more focused and a much better feeling. I get nervous, but all that is care and passion and excitement and competition. And if you weren't nervous, you shouldn't be playing or you shouldn't be coaching, because like then I think, to me at least, it shows kind of a lack of into it and a lack of desire and all that kind of thing. And we're nervous because we care. At least that's how I am. So I'm nervous, but it's all excitement and it's all kind of desire to play the game already. Yeah.
What can we expect from tomorrow's game?
I hope it's violent and mean-spirited and horrible, and just like filthy and muddy over there at the always sunny, rainy field over there in that part of the country. And I'm sure that's what it will be, because that's how every game that I've been a part of with the Crocs and the Steelers, except last year when we sent them home, was like that. Like starting with the punch and the handshake line. Last year the second game was quite well behaved. First game this year, first half was a little bit fighty. Whole game, second game this year was pretty fighty. There were a lot of personal fouls. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what it looks like this time.
Looked peculiar in the stats after the home game against Steelers. It said they had 6 penalties for a grand total of 10 yards. I don't know how that happened.
I mean, it didn't happen because there were
Did they drop a
personal
zero
fouls.
from the end?
Yeah, they must have done.
The Steelers are the most penalized team in the league every year. I mean, well, that's one way to play the game.
Yeah.
Fill in the space. If Crocodiles win tomorrow, I will
Watch film.
So I guess
Watch the Roosters and the Butchers.
I guess what you say next, but if Crocodiles lose tomorrow, I will.
Day off.
I thought you were going to say not watch film.
Not watch film. Same thing. Yeah.
Charlie, Ovey, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Good luck for tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Thank you.